Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Bank Shot Breakdown. We're going to go over 5 college basketball games for Tuesday, February 27th, 2024. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comments section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my college basketball Bank Shot best bet, you can find those at the premium picks tab at pickdawgz.com. There's also a link in the description. All right, let's do it. Here are the games for Tuesday in college hoops. First up, we look at the SEC as Georgia takes on LSU. This one, 7 p.m. Eastern on the SEC Network. Georgia, we've faded them quite a bit this season, especially in recent games. And, as of late, it's done pretty well for us. Since Georgia's not really in good form. They've lost 7 of the last 8 games overall. However, I do think this is a pretty beneficial matchup for the Bulldogs. And I know LSU, they lost their first game, so they're playing with revenge in this spot, trying to, get the revenge in the second game of the season series. But I just think when you look at the way that these teams play, it's pretty beneficial for Georgia. LSU, one of the weaker three-point defenses in this conference, ranked 222nd nationally in three-point defense. And that's, those struggles on the perimeter really showed up in that last game against Mississippi State. A Mississippi State team, it's not a great shooting team. They're ranked 254th in three-point shooting. However, they were 10 of 21 from 3 in that game, 48%, and they beat LSU by 20 points in the end. Georgia, they're not an amazing three-point shooting team, but they do score a lot of their points from the perimeter, over 31% of them, and especially as of late in conference play, they've really relied on those three-point jumpers. I think they're going to be able to get a lot of open looks in this game from the perimeter. Guys like Noah Thomason and Abdur Rahim should get open looks, and I think they're going to cash in on most of those. And when you look at also, Georgia gets a lot of its points from the free throw line. They score over 22% of their points from the charity stripe. LSU does take a good amount of fouls, so I think Georgia's going to be able to get to the line quite often in this game, score their points from the three-point line as well. And, Georgia's not an amazing offensive rebounding team, but LSU does struggle quite a bit on the defensive glass. They're ranked 306 in defensive rebounding, and we talk about it all the time. What's the best opportunity for a three-point shot? Usually off an offensive rebound. You kick it out to the corner, the guy's wide open, and Georgia does, do that quite a bit when they do get those offensive rebounds. So I'm going to go with Georgia here. I think they sweep the season series. I have not backed Mike White's team very often this year, but this is a spot where I will. Next up, we see Kentucky and Mississippi State will stay in the SEC, as this one's also going to be 7 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be on ESPN. We've talked a lot about Kentucky this year. We've mostly faded this team, and, we've had mixed results at the beginning of the season. Wasn't doing too well, but there was a stretch where Kentucky lost against Texas A&M, Florida, Tennessee, the game against Gonzaga. So we've done a pretty good job cashing against Kentucky this year. And while they took care of business against Alabama in that last game, we were on Alabama, and that was a blowout win for Kentucky. I am fading them in this spot as well. I just think Mississippi State at this time of the year, Chris Jan's team, we saw the same exact thing last year. Mississippi State was down and out there. They were 1-7 in conference play, 12-8 overall. Had basically no chance of making the NCAA tournament at that point in the season. And then they went on a 5-game win streak. They won some key games in conference play, won a game in the conference tournament, found themselves in the big dance. And now Chris Jan's team, they're on a nice win streak right now. They've won 5 straight games. They haven't beaten any of the top teams in the conference, but they're taking care of business, winning these games by double digits, scoring a lot of points as well for a team not known for its offense. We've seen 87, 83, 75 twice in this 5-game win streak, and you're playing a pretty weak Kentucky defense, a Kentucky team that has not been 100% healthy all season. I don't think they've played a single game where they've had every single player on the roster available. Trey Mitchell was in street clothes in the last game, so he obviously didn't play, and I'm not sure if he's going to be available here. That's really big because Mississippi State is known for its front court with guys like Tolu Smith. So if no Trey Mitchell, I do worry about the paint defense for Kentucky in this game. But beyond that, we know Kentucky relies a lot on the three-point jumper. They take a lot and make a lot of tough three-point jumpers. They're number 1 in the country in three-point shooting. However, Mississippi State's the 4th best three-point defense. They force a lot of tough shots, 11th best in adjusted defensive efficiency. They're playing at home, and they also have a fundamental advantage. They have the much better rebounding numbers. And again, if Trey Mitchell's not playing in this game, he's one of their front court members, one of their better rebounders. So that's really worrisome. I think Mississippi State would have a lot of offensive rebounds, and also I think they get to the free throw line a good amount of times. Kentucky takes quite a few fouls. Their defense, not the most disciplined, and not just not very efficient in general. Ranks 77th in adjusted defensive efficiency. So on the road for a young team that may be shorthanded against a red-hot Mississippi State team that defends the perimeter as well as it does, I'm going to go with the Bulldogs here and lay the points. Next up, we go to the Big Ten as Penn State takes on Iowa. This one's going to be a 9 p.m. Eastern start time. It's going to be on the Big Ten Network. Penn State's won 2 straight games, including that big upset win against Illinois. but both of those games were at home. They have not done too well on the road this season. In fact, only 2 true road wins overall, and those were against some of the weaker teams in the conference in Rutgers and Indiana. Now, Iowa, you could make the argument, one of the weaker teams in the Big Ten as well, but I just think that the way that Iowa plays and how strong their home court advantage is, even when the team is not doing too well, I think it's too much for Penn State. This Iowa offense is still very potent. We saw even in the loss against Illinois last time out on the road, they still put up 85 points in that game, and they were actually really competitive in that one. They had a 7-point lead with 12 minutes to go in the second half of that game. So Iowa showed up. If they would have made a few more three-pointers, they probably would have had a decent chance to either pull off the upset or be within single digits. But I just don't think Penn State's offense can keep up for 40 minutes. And even the defense is ranked outside the top 100 in adjusted defensive efficiency. Not a very good rebounding team. So Iowa, who's already a pretty good shooting team to begin with, if they're getting those second chance looks, it's going to be really tough for Penn State to keep up. So I'm going to go with Iowa in this game. They're playing with revenge. They're playing at home. And I think they match up really well in this one. So I'm going to take Iowa and lay the points. Next up, we'll go to the Mountain West as Boise State takes on Air Force. This one's going to be a 9 p.m. Eastern start time. Now, on Saturday, we took Air Force plus the points as our bank shot best bet, and we didn't need the points in that game. It was an outright winner at plus 1,200 odds on the money line if you took it. And Air Force is one of those volatile teams that they are pretty inefficient in most facets of the game. I mean, defensively, they are not very good. The offense turns the ball over a ton. They're not a good offensive rebounding team. They don't get to the free throw line, and they're not a good free throw shooting team. However, they are a really good shooting team from the field, especially from three-point line, where they're ranked 39th in college basketball. So in certain games where their three-point shots are falling at crazy rates, they'll have a chance to pull off some upsets. We saw that against UNLV, and then we saw it against New Mexico in the pit. Really impressive win for Air Force. They shot 11 of 25 from three in that game, 44%. New Mexico had a miserable shooting performance from the perimeter, 18% for them, and that was the difference. That's why Air Force won that game by 1. However, going forward, I still think Air Force is one of the weaker teams in this conference. And I mentioned that the Mountain West, home teams have covered at a great rate this season. They've been mostly all profitable against the spread, but Air Force is one of those home teams that have not been profitable. And I think this is a letdown spot for the Falcons. I still think Boise State matches up really well in this game, just like they did back on February 3rd when it was a 94-56 win for the Broncos. And Boise State, they defend the perimeter really well, 27th best in three-point defense. They don't give up a lot of offensive rebounds, which is important, for a three-point defense as well. So I think Boise State, really good matchup here for them. On the road, I'm not worried about it. I'm going to lay the points here with Boise State. Next up, we see Nevada and Colorado State. This one's going to be a 10:30 Eastern start time on Fox Sports 1. For me, this game goes beyond the fact that Colorado State is at home. We know the Rams are a good home team. They've been one of the home teams we backed this season in Mountain West play. They're 8-5 against the numbers, so they've been, profitable. And in recent games, they've struggled, but all 3 of those losses in the last 4 were true road games. So they return home here. It's a solid spot, but we got to remember Nevada is also a profitable road team this season. They're 6-3 against the number on the road, so they kind of cancel out. For me, I just like Colorado State because I just think they're plainly the better team, and we're getting them at a pretty good price because of those recent struggles and because Nevada's on a 3-game win streak and has won 6 of the last 7. To me, I just think Nevada is one of the more overrated teams in this conference. When you look at the shot quality numbers, they're not the best. They're fundamentally sound, but I do think Colorado State is just the better team here. And, Colorado State playing with revenge. They lost to Nevada at the beginning of conference play on the road. I think it's a good spot for the Rams. So I'm going to take Colorado State and lay the points at a pretty good price. And that's it. Those are the games for Tuesday in college hoops. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe and put your college basketball picks in the comments section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. As always, this is Romanelli. Good luck.